Today I'm going to talk to you about the Arpeggiator in Reason. So let's go ahead and build our rack by creating a mixer. And then we're going to create the subtractor analog synthesizer, which is a monophonic device. Now to create the Arpeggiator, we need to make sure the subtractor is selected. And then we right-click on it, choose Create, and then scroll down to Arpeggiate Monophonic Arpeggiator, and boom. Turning the rack back around, we can now see that CV inputs and outputs from the Arpeggiator are coming into the subtractor, both sequencer control and mod wheel and pitch wheel. Okay, so let's just play a chord on our keyboard. As we can see, the Arpeggiator takes all of the notes that we're playing on the keyboard and rotates through them one at a time. I'm going to play a 4-note chord. And I'm going to hit the hold button so I can remove my hand from the keyboard and continue to manipulate the data. So we have several modes here. Let's cycle through them. It's on up and down, random, and manual. Manual plays the notes of the chord in the order I played them. Insert has several options. The low insert alternates the low note between the other notes. High does the opposite. The 3 plays groups of 3, and the 4 does groups of 4. And we can do 1 octave, 2 octaves, 3 octaves, 4 octaves, back to 1 octave. The sync button and the rate acts just like in the redrum computer, the rate value for each of the sequencer patterns. Right now, each of these steps are acting as 16th notes based on the tempo in the transport control. So I can make this faster or slower. I can adjust the length of each note. If it's all the way to the right, they sound like tied connected notes, or extremely staccato. Likewise, I can also select the pattern. I can adjust the amount of steps in the pattern. Or I can turn certain steps of the pattern off. I press the hold button to turn it off. This is great for creating textures with synthesizers within your compositions. It's also good for creating some bass lines if you want to do some octave work. For instance, if I set this to 8th notes and do 1 octave, pretty nice. It helps that the patch you have selected in the subtractor has a very short attack time and a short release time. So let's record a bass line, and then we're going to create another device, and we're going to create a synth texture. Let's do a slightly faster tempo. Let's bump this up to about 138. All right, I'm going to record this in the Arpeggiator. So let's set this up for recording. Make sure the track is selected. Rewind all the way back to the beginning. Okay, I'm going to turn on click and make sure pre is on. I'll get 1 measure of count off. I'm also going to make sure the hold button is on. and away we go. Let us copy this clip out to make it twice as long. We might as well set our loop points there too. And now let's create another subtractor. We might as well rename these to what they are. I'm going to call this polysynth. Let's create and let's find a good patch here for our poly. Alright, let's check the poly out and let's create a pattern here that's going to work. Make sure my click is on. All right. The next thing I would do is I would probably add in a little bit of delay in here and some reverb, and we'd be off. There you go.